Can you catch bees directly in a hive? Where did I get that idea from? One, it was one of the first things I thought about because a 2-second lean standard is overproduction or overprocessing. Overprocessing being all things that don't add value. The only value to me as a beekeeper are the bees in the hive. So while it's awesome catching a swarm, there's a lot of extra steps that go into that. If you can directly catch them in the hive, then that saves you a lot of time. Who gave me that idea? This hive behind me gave me the idea. They broke all the rules. It was the very first week of March when they're not supposed to swarm until the last week of March. They moved in. I had brought this hive out, set it there in preparation for swarm season, and they caught themselves. They're 3 feet or 2 feet off the ground. They caught themselves right there. They were too early. The entrance faces west, right? A lot of these philosophies that beekeepers claim that are the law, the bees don't care. If they find a suitable home, they'll move into it. I didn't even bait this year. This was baited from last year. Well, actually this hive is now 2 years old, but 3 years ago is when I had it baited. And so when I moved it outside, they just decided to move in. So if you can catch a swarm directly in your hive, you don't have to do all that overprocessing. And now one more thing, why would I bait a hive and hang swarm traps? Very simple, maximize the chances I can catch a swarm. Again, this is $250 that moved in. I can even catch swarms and sell them for $250 locally if I want to. And so these are great examples of why to have multiple swarm catchers. And a swarmed hive will almost always do better. You speak to experienced beekeepers, a swarmed hive that's caught will almost always do better than a split hive of nukes. If you make a nuke versus you catch a swarm and place a swarm into a nuke, the swarm almost always does better. All right, guys, there's 2 more things that we got to talk about as far as products go. The first one is lemongrass oil and these slow release tubes, right? This is from Dr. Sharoskin. Again, you can get this from his website, comments below. What you do is take one of these slow release tubes, take an eyedropper that comes with it. You're just gonna dip in, and you're gonna fill this tube half full, all right? Once it's half full, just gonna close this tube off, and this is a slow release scent tube. I'm gonna close this back up. I'm not gonna need it. I'm gonna take this zip tie here. All right, so you're gonna pull this out. I'm gonna take this lemongrass oil. I'm gonna set it right here towards the bottom. I'm gonna zip tie it on to this metal rod. Then I'm gonna cut this tail off. Once this tail is cut off, slip this down in here. Your swarm catcher is 100% baited. What about this other product? The other product is called Swarm Commander. It's kind of pricey. It can be very pricey. There's a link to this down below, but it works very well. It's also very lemongrassy. For this, it works a little different. That slow release bait's gonna be good enough, but if you wanna give yourself extra insurance or use this instead, you squirt 1 on top and you do 1 inside. And I try to hit the wall, the back wall. Set it in, boom, there you go. You have a 100% baited hive. All right, guys, now what if you wanted to use the 5-gallon bucket? Again, it's about the right size. Again, the reason I don't like to use it, let me take all this stuff out, is it's really not that bad, but the number one determining factor is, will bees move into it? Is there existing comb or wax? Well, you can do that. You can bait this hive with your, whatever, the Swarm Commander if you want. You could also take scrap bits of wax and attach it in here. And you can hang it this way, right, with the honey pour spout. You can hang it this way and attach something here. But again, I don't like to do that, but it is possible. It is the correct size and dimensions, right? You guys can kind of see this is very similar in size to this, right? It's a little bit wider in volume. It sticks out over the edge, but that is another option. You can use a cardboard box. You don't have to use anything, but I'm gonna be using this swarm catcher, but I have one more trick up my sleeve that I'm gonna show you guys. It's gonna sidestep all the things that you do while you are gonna be baiting one of these hives out. All right, so now I've rebaited this swarm catcher. And where do you want to put it? Well, you're going to want to put it about 9 feet, 3 meters, to 12 feet, 4 meters off the ground. And you're going to want to put it in an obvious place. Like for instance, Right here, there's a tree that's by itself in the middle of the field. That would be a perfect example. What about this RV behind me? This RV might be a perfect place. Just take this guy right here, and we're gonna set it right on top of the RV. But I've got a better idea. Instead of putting it in a tree or on top of the camper, I'm gonna put it on top of something that every good homestead should have. And that's an M35A2, or a 5-ton or deuce and a half. This is an M35A2. It's got a multi-fuel engine, 1968. Designed to fight the Russians, can run off diesel, automatic transmission fluid, motor oil, vegetable oil, gasoline, vodka. And it was $6 grand. You guys should definitely have one. That's why I've got 4. I'm not gonna put it on this one. The roofs of these are slanty, so I can probably use either ginger here, which, you know, most of these end up at fire departments, run into the ground and then sold to the public again. I'm gonna put it on top of this guy here, the troop transport. There's actually wood under there. It's a pretty level spot, and it is approximately 12 feet off the ground, or 4 meters, which is exactly where I want it to be. All right. I am freaked out by heights. This is not gonna stay by itself because it can shake around. This is pretty level. I'm gonna put several big rocks on here. If I do catch something, even though my hive is right there, I've gotta take this guy 2 to 5 miles away, leave it for 2 weeks so the foragers can reacclimate to that area. They forget all the landmarks around here. Then I'm gonna come back over here. All right, guys, we are now here at a hive. Now, this hive also didn't make it from last year. So we're gonna bust this guy open. I've already unwinterized it and taken everything out. Look how dirty it is inside. Now I'm gonna just dump these bees out, and then we're gonna just set this up so you guys can see. All right, very simple here, guys. I roughly clean this out. Is it the best? No, it's not, but it's good enough. I'm gonna open this door here. You can see this is where the old hive was, and the divider board used to be here. So I'm actually gonna flip-flop that, give that side a break, move them to this side for the year. So I'm gonna use this, break the propolis seal here to open that door. Ooh, look at that. Clear all that out. All right, now I'm gonna take everything I have set up for this, and I'm gonna move them over. Now, there's some weird bits of comb here at the bottom. We were talking about that earlier. I don't like these weird bits of comb. I'm gonna get rid of them. Here's another weird bit of comb. I'm gonna get rid of it carefully. I'm gonna save this into my beeswax collection, so none of it's gonna go to waste. Now this is pretty good, right? If you look down the edge, it's not until right there, there's a little bump out. I think that'll be okay. I'm gonna move this over to here, push it all the way over against the side. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, you know, it's super dirty in here. It's not good. You could spread disease. That is a possibility. This hive died because of lost resources, and I was able to confirm that as the clustering. This is actually from this hive earlier on. So you have one there. I'm gonna take the next frame, set them in here until I got 6 of them. And we've got the last one, and this one has that bait that we just saw. That's gonna go down in here. It's all gonna smush together. Okay, hold on. I don't like what's going on with this one. If I had a hive tool on me, which I don't, you always should, you can break all this stuff away. So I'm just gonna do it with my fingers somehow. That's the propolis. Oh, on the edge of this rock. Now, you're gonna take that divider board. Normally, you have it down for ventilation, right? I'm not gonna do that here. I'm gonna flip it this way. I'm gonna make sure all the other doors are closed. So closed door, open door. Again, all this will get cleaned out. This has now the same size volume-wise as the swarm catcher. Now, for extra insurance, I'm gonna go ahead and take the swarm commander, and I'm gonna squirt this guy right in there. I'm gonna hit this wall right here, and I'm gonna scooch this in the middle, use over to the side a little bit. I'm gonna hit this back wall. All right, so now there's just 2 squirts. That's it. Put that guy down there. You get the lid to put back on it. You might be asking yourself, do I go ahead and just bait this, or do I set the swarm traps as well? And my answer to that is I'm gonna bait this, I'm gonna set this swarm trap, I'm gonna set the other swarm trap at the beginning of the video. And whichever one catches a swarm first, I'll then, if it's a swarm trap, I'm gonna do the 2-mile thing. If it's this one, then I'm not gonna do anything. That's where they're at. They're at home. After a week, I'll flip that divider board around. They'll have all that space, and I'll just do a standard spring inspection. I'm gonna go ahead and hang this so you know exactly how to hang your hive or where you wanna put it. Guys, if you like this kind of stuff, remember to like and subscribe. We've got merch coming soon. We've also got a Patreon page, link below. Please, if you want to support the channel and see more cool stuff down the line, it helps me out to go ahead and do that. I also have Amazon links below. If you like them, fix what bugs you, eliminate the struggle, and go out there and grow something. Guys, we'll catch you next time.